1, 2. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to 2020 TIO NTFL Round 7 Indigenous Round. We've had both teams walk on the field and the umpires as well. We'll be joined shortly with them in the middle here for a welcome to country by the special Richie Fijo and Les Huddleston on the didgeridoo. Both clubs holding important connections and history to Larrakia country and the Bagot and Belyuen communities. They've been granted permission to use the term Nunyalinga, the place where Larrakia spirit comes from the earth and goes into mothers' bellies, and life for the Larrakia commence. It has been described as a beginning and the end, where spirit returns after life. Both teams tonight will be vying for the Nunyalinga Cup, as well as 2 best on ground medals. All right, may I ask players to please make their way to the middle of the field as we welcome Larrakia traditional owner Richard Fijo to perform a special welcome to country, accompanied by didgeridoo player and Larrakia man himself, Les Huddleston.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Richard Fijo. I'm a Larrakia man from Darwin, of Larrakia direct male descent from my father, grandfather and great-grandfather, what Aboriginal culture calls grandfather law. I'm also the chairman of the Larrakia Nation Aboriginal Corporation. It's my honour to welcome all of you here tonight to the Nunyalinga Cup. I hope the best team wins tonight, and I'd like to congratulate all these deadly players out here. Happy NAIDOC Week to all of you, mob. Happy NAIDOC Week to everyone in the crowd. And we share this country, we share this story on Larrakia land. Always remember that. You have come by way of Larrakia land. You will hear the voices of our ancestors. And when you leave, you'll take the Larrakia message with you. Reverend W. Fijo. Ladies and gentlemen, it's an honour to welcome each and every one of you to Larrakia land. My ancestors guide and protect you always. Thank you.
All right. Applause for Richie Fijo and Les Huddleston, ladies and gentlemen. What an incredible welcome to country there. And a big round of applause for our players as they're about to get into the Nunyalinga Cup. All Right, now the captains and the umpires will make their way to the centre circle for a special coin toss. All right, and a special match day ball today has been painted by the special Naomi Briston, a supporter and valuable member of the Buffaloes Football Club here today, and we presented to the umpires.
Hello and welcome to NITV's coverage of the
All right, so Naomi has tossed the coin there. Buffaloes have won and they'll be kicking towards the Michael Long Centre end.
In Darwin. Hello and welcome to NITV's coverage of the 2020-21 TIO NTFL season from TIO Stadium in Darwin. We acknowledge that we are on Larrakia country. Round 8 is a very special and significant round. It's Indigenous round. The Welcome to Country that you saw then was performed by Larrakia Elder Richard Fijo. Symbolic bounce of the commemorative football was hand-painted by Larrakia artist Naomi Briston. Your commentary team today, and it's a really deadly one I reckon, are Rob Cross, Raph Clark and myself, Nev McEwen. Raph, good to have you in the studios here.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Nev.
Yeah. Now, the Buffaloes and Wanderers, they're very two proud teams with strong links to the local Darwin families, and they're also first and second on the ladder. Can you talk us through your thoughts for the game?
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. Good to see both the teams up 1 and 2, and the main clash for the round. And it's going to be interesting to see who wins this one because the match are already similar. The speed they've both got, it's going to go right down to the wire, I think. So it's going to be a good one to tune into.
And in recent years, Raph, we've seen probably 10 years ago, Wanderers and St Mary's had these great clashes. Buffs were sort of near the bottom of the ladder. In recent times, Buffs have been coming up and Wanderers have found themselves outside the top 5. So as you pointed out, to see them 1 and 2 into round 7 of the NTFL season, fantastic.
Yeah, definitely, and it shows how strong the comp is this year. You don't know who's going to win each game. So, we played against Buffaloes last week, and I think everyone thought it was going to be a close one, and Buffaloes actually touched us up a bit, unfortunately. But, yeah, it's going to be an interesting season, and this proves it tonight.
Underway in the middle, thrilling game, first versus second, first clearance, possibly with the Wanderers, although it's been chopped out. Atkinson comes up with it, handball out to Coombs, floats on over the top, looking out towards the wing. Bo O'Connell was terrific in his first game back last week since winning the Nichols medal, kicks up towards right half forward, Moroni drops back with a flight and takes the mark, outpointing Simon Bates. Moroni from defensive 50. Eddie comes at him late, gets his kick away towards the wing, 1-on-2 battle. McKenzie had a couple to beat. Good tackle there. I think it was Newman was taken to ground heavily. Moroni attacks the footy. Bates tackles him strongly. The ball bobbles out. Play on the call. Scooped up there by Hodgson, close to the boundary. Hodgson lays another strong tackle. So the intensity's there early, Raph.
Yeah, definitely. It's going back and forth straight away here, and it's going to take a while for him to settle. So whoever settles first, I think, is going to be an important one.
Who's your tip, Nev?
It's a really close one. Can I sit on the fence just for now?
Okay, Raph?
The way Buffaloes played last week, I'm thinking I'm leaning towards them tonight. But yeah, like Wanderers, Wanderers are the sort of team, if you keep them in the game, they can turn it on any moment.
A turnover there, and the first goal of the night to Wanderers. Seaton Kernoth went dangerously across the face of goal. The mark was taken by Josh Cabillo, handed off to Tipalura, and the first goal of the night to Wanderers. So you can't make a mistake in this game. Both sides have got excellent pace, great skills, and a horrible turnover here. You'll see on the replay, Seaton Kernoth Exciting young player. Dangerous chip across the top, looking for his teammate Bradley Stokes. Dish off to Tipalura from Cabillo, and the first goal of the night to Wanderers.
It's
Yeah,
pretty
well read.
good.
Yeah, well read Cabillo as well. You never see him really up forward, and this year he's taken that key forward role for Wanderers, so it's good to see him have an impact straight away. So that move's definitely working for him.
Been missing for a season or two, hasn't he? So it's great to see him back in the comp.
He's missed the last two, I think. So
hard body, great contests everything. Tipalura again could be involved here. Bit of jumper pulling there with Bradley Stokes. Lachoviak there. Tipalura keeps it along in front of himself, sees it out of bounds in the forward pocket.
And Tipalura being really deadly there, representing the Tui Islands.
yeah, good to see him up and about early. He, he's one of those players. You let him off the leash and he can kick 2 or 3 really quickly.
I will stop sitting on the fence. I'm going to say Buffs by 10.
So thrown into play. Oh, Eddie does well, takes out the ruck contest and couldn't get ball to boot effectively. The high kick comes out of defence for the Buffaloes. Williams from behind. Simpson there as well, number 16 for Wanderers. Comes to McFarlane. He kicks up towards centre half. A nice kick. Tipalura is in everything at the moment, and he marks on his chest, 50 out, slightly off centre. So it's barely, it hasn't been past the halfway point of the ground for Buffaloes. It's been all Wanderers in the first 3 minutes.
We
Sounds a bit familiar.
We might have to change our tip.
Let's stick by it, Raf.
Yeah.
Raf, who's your mob?
I'm also Larrakia as well. So, seeing the ceremony tonight by Richard was awesome. But also got family ties out to Coburg Peninsula Way and also out to Wadeye, Mariam 97.
Eddie in the goal square does the shepherding, and Tipalura's got his second. Wait on the goal umpire, he sure has. Great start by Tipalura, an Indigenous round, and Tipalura's got 2 goals inside 4 minutes. Wanderers 2 straight, Buffaloes yet to score.
It's almost like the Buffs are having doing what they did to you guys last week at the start, Raf.
Yeah, they look like they haven't settled yet, and they're throwing it on the boot coming out of the back line there, and even that first one looked like they were a bit rushed, so they need to settle down, I think, and compose themselves, and once they get their run, I think they'll be all right.
I had a lot of fun the other day. I went to the training for Wanderers, and I learnt a few new things about the guys that I hope to share during the broadcast.
Excellent, look forward to it. Jared Stokes, can the Buffs skipper lift them? He sidesteps, kicks inside attacking 50, longer full forward. Ishmael Palmer got hands to it. Foster there as well. Foster will go by hand. He tries to kick it himself around the corner. Doesn't make great connection towards the pocket. Chance here for the Buffaloes through Matricardi. That's Darcy Matricardi. Off hands and out of bounds right forward pocket. First foray into forward 50 for the Buffs. Almost 5 minutes gone. First quarter. First Buffaloes, second Wanderers on the ladder.
And fighting it out for the Nungalinga Cup. I hope I pronounced that properly. If not, apologies.
I think you nailed it.
Simpson takes it out of the ruck defensively. Kicks in the Bates direction. Maroney at the back of the pack. Runs onto the footy. The outer wing. On the bounce it comes to Riley Matricardi. He can't control it and it bobbles out of bounds. An exciting game, Raf. It was nice of the coach to allow you to come off early to prepare for commentary tonight. I saw you come off with about 5 minutes to go. I think it was level then, but you guys stormed over the top of Waratahs.
Yeah, it was a great fight back by the boys after a disappointing loss last week. We really needed to bounce back, so good to see. And I'd like to say it was to come up here nice and early, but unfortunately I think I've tightened up in the hammy and might have had a bit of a tear there. So fingers crossed it's not too bad.
Yep. Be good to see you out there and not miss too much footy.
I was going to say something nice about Chopper, but I guess I better hold that for a little bit longer.
Yeah, he wouldn't have let me do that, that's for sure, just for a bit of commentary.
I'm in his bad books at the moment, but hey, Chopper, you're still deadly.
Seaton Kernoff wins the free kick for Buffaloes, defensive side of the centre out to Ryan Pendlebury, brother of Scott Pendlebury, this Magpie skipper. They've been in the news this week. Off to Mackenzie. Kick a little bit too high. Dre Thompson smashes it away. Cabillo, handball. Only as far there as William Clark. Comes back inside attacking 50. Palmer's got 3 to beat. Williams in front. Slaps the handball along in the Newman direction. Newman on hands and knees. Funnels it out to a teammate. Williams might receive it here. Over his head. Erlinson He's been a great player for many years for Wanderers. Back to now McFarlane. McFarlane kicks up towards half forward. 2-on-1 battle. Eddie, clever as ever, pushes away from his man. He's got a vacant 50. He's got some speed for a big man. Runs to 40. Vacant square. Brett Eddie kicks a wonderful goal.
And that's the reason why he's the leading goal kicker at the moment in the competition.
Yeah, very good finish there. You can see Wanderers' game plan early here. They're all pushing back really, really hard to make it hard for Buffaloes to enter there, and they left it forward 50 Eddie by himself and let him go to work, and it's paid off.
So Wanderers lead, and 7 minutes played in the first quarter. Wanderers lead 18 points to Buffaloes nothing.
Former Port Adelaide player who's kicked some big bags already this season. One thing with Wanderers this year, Raf, is their fitness. They've done a lot of work in pre-season. They've added some new players, like, well, Eddie's been there before, of course, but they've really bolstered their ranks with some good recruiting as well. Yeah, definitely the amount of players up here in the territory at the moment, due to a lot of seasons not happening down south. Those guys bring a lot of professionalism with their training, and, once these local boys see that, you can see the fitness of all the boys this year. It's through the roof, which is good to see. The comp getting a lot stronger. Bradley Stokes wins the free kick. Dre Thompson infringing. Kick out towards the wing. Mackenzie, well done by Newman. Held him up and saw him over the boundary line for a throw-in.
I think I know what is motivating Eddie. Apparently he likes to eat pasta before the game. Yeah, if you're going to run like that and kick those goals, I think you can have a couple of bowls not before a game. Put those carbs into you. Carb loading.
Comes to the back of the pack. Another whistle. Advantage, no, Max Kennedy. He's played one game with Port Melbourne in the VFL, from Ormond in the VAFA, very strong club in the 90s. Going to date myself there by saying that, but they were a big club in VAF and amateur football in Melbourne.
I don't think you look a day over 30.
Oh, too kind. The grey hairs might tell another story. Comes to Lachoviak. He's got a splash of colour in his hair. Long inside 50, courageous drift across the front of the pack. Mark wasn't taken. But tight Wanderers defence. Only as far as Pendlebury, though. He dishes a handball over the top. Comes back inside to Armat. Oh, desperation's brilliant by Wanderers. Little handballs flipped out to the side. Kick off target. Atkinson plays it well. Gets away from Simpson and kicks up towards half forward. Williams is there. He might receive the handball here. Squeezed out, passes him. He gets it now. Warwick Williams. Kicks up towards centre half forward. Eddie's dangerous again. Oh, well played. The man in front there was Dylan Gordon. And he receives the footy at half back and kicks it very long up towards left half forward. Collinson with the fly from the side, but the man in front's got the mark, and that's Newman. He squares it across the face to Aaron Motlop, one of the greats of NTFL footy. Mark dropped on the wing. Play on, Braden McLean, captain of Wanderers. Kicks in the pocket. Eddie's everywhere. Gordon tries to keep him hemmed in on the boundary line. He does. And there'll be a boundary throw in right on the arc of 50 between the left forward pocket and left half forward for Wanderers. Buff still yet to score, Nev.
I'm a bit speechless, actually. But, hey, it's only early days, only almost 10 minutes played in the first quarter. Anything can happen, Rob.
Big punch from behind there came from Garton over the top of Atkinson. Out of bounds, about 60 around. From the Wanderers' goal, kicking to the airport end in this first quarter.
Rob, did you say who you were tipping? And don't say Wanderers just because they're 3 goals in front.
Look, I have to admit to have a Buffs allegiance, shall we say, so I couldn't go against the Buffs. So it's 3 Buffalo supporters up here tonight.
Sorry, Wanderers. Happy for you to prove us wrong.
McLean, Foster sees him out of bounds.
Good,
There's a few players missing tonight, aren't there? Of course, Matty Campbell, who's had a good start to the year, not coaching this year. There's Cam Stokes taking on the coaching mantle, so he's missing. Jalen Clark still missing for the Buffs. So,
but obviously they've done quite well without Matty Campbell. I think he hasn't played for the last couple of games at least.
Yeah, definitely. I haven't seen him out for about 2 or 3 weeks, but the young Buffs have filled in well, and you haven't really seen that hole of him missing. He smarts around the ground, and the young fellas have stood up, I think. Yep. So it's been great for him.
Good depth for the club. Buffs have got more numbers around the ball on this occasion. Stephen Kunoth's one of those young players we speak about and admire. Kicks it high towards the wing. Running back of the flight was courageous. That was Joel Cabillo. The free kick's going to Foster. Normally a lot further up the ground. Brodie Foster's kicked a lot of goals for the Buffs this year. One of the leading goal scorers in the competition. Finds himself at right half back. Goes short, barely 15. Finds Kennedy, who's been busy. So a good deep midfield for the Buffs, but they want to get a bit of a wriggle on. Stokes takes the mark. Not going direct. They're opting to go wide. Collinson kicks long. Ishmael Palmer gets pushed under the footy, and Brenton Motlop takes a good grab.
Another Larrakia Jubba Jubba man from the Kimberley region of Western Australia as well. Almost near my country.
Thumping kick to McLean. Oh, a little wobbler off the side of the boot. Matricardi. Well done though by Joel Cabillo. Comes out towards the wing. One-on-one contest. Clever play there by the Buffs. Aaron Stokes. Still Stokes. Dre Thompson comes in. Maroney, good work. Back to Aaron Stokes. Here's neat sidestep, and his left footer though is off target. And Ronald Fijo comes in and takes the mark. Fijo kicks inside attacking 50. But the mark is chopped out by Pendlebury, who drops into the slot in front of Eddie. Oh, dangerous again. They want to go across the ground once more. This is a better kick. They've conceded one goal already. Heavy collision there on Brad Stokes. And he might remonstrate a little bit there with Jared Erlinson. No, he's going to pick up the footy. Good aggressive play by Erlinson. Made him earn the footy. Maroney, right half back. They're undecided. Wonderful manning up. But the speed of Stokes cuts in front of a couple of Wanderers players, and he runs away down the outer wing. Kicks up towards centre half forward. Ishmael Palmer in front. One grab, two. Couldn't take the mark. Eldridge comes through. Palmer mops up. Kicks inside attacking 50. Wants a teammate. Goes close to the boundary line. Foster comes out. Foster grabs the footy. He thought he was around Braden McLean, but it was out of bounds.
Do you fancy anyone for the premiership just yet, or contenders? I know it's only seven rounds already, but is anyone that's been standing out to either of you?
I've had about 4 different tips in the first 7 rounds, I think. Yeah,
I thought you were going to say this first quarter. I was like,
the professionalism of Nightcliff probably keeps them in front just, but gee, I reckon any of the top 5 at the moment. St Mary's, Wanderers, Buffs.
It's definitely one of the harder years to pick, with all these boys up here that have missed out on footy season. So, that's the thing, it could come down to the really last game of the year, like normally it does, but silly thing to say. But, yeah, that's the thing, that any of those top 5 teams at the moment can win a game at any given time.
The connection for the midfield to the Buffs forward line not quite working. They're getting back into the game. They're still scoreless. They've been inside 50 a few times in the last 5 minutes without troubling the goal umpire. There's going to be a 50-metre penalty here against Buffaloes. Aaron Motlop will bring the footy from defensive 50 up over the wing and give them another chance. If he moves up quickly, he's got one out with Eddie. Eddie breaks away. The pass is drilled just on the half volley. Eddie picks it up, and then Dylan Gordon tackles him very strongly. Across half forward, Stokes, Maroney, Seaton Kernoff comes out there towards Aaron Motlop though. Strong tackle on Josh Cabillo. Ryan Pendlebury for the Buffaloes out to Eldridge in the flashy pink boots, and Eldridge kicks the ball long up towards half forward. Nudging him underneath there. Foster did well, gets away. Just a little lunge at the end, tipped him off balance. Warwick Williams comes across half back and gives to Braden McLean. Wanderers skipper has a bounce. He'll get a shepherd from a teammate, clears a path. Again, the pass just short, but once more, Wanderers have the numbers, and Newman does well. Back to McLean, outer wing, kicks up towards half forward. Floating back with a flight is Bradley Stokes, and he takes a good mark. Another one of those players that looks really lean and fit this year, Raph.
Yeah,
Brad
definitely.
Stokes.
Like we're saying, like a lot of teams have got the extra bikes up here that have done the work down south and done a lot of pre-seasons, and I think they've led the way with all the clubs up here.
What impressed you at Wanderers training, Nev? They look pretty sharp.
Yeah, they did, but then I was too busy talking one-on-one to players.
Oh, Eddie again. He's out pointing Dylan Gordon. Maybe a change might need to be made, because at the moment he's proving too strong. Mind you, Gordon's a strong player. Maybe Ryan Pendlebury might have to be the player, Raph.
Pendlebury's your next tall option. I don't know who else who's tall enough to run with Eddie out of the Buffs back 6 there. They're all smaller running players, and the ball movement by Wanderers is coming in too quick for them, the Buffaloes, to be able to roll off and help. So if they slow them up the ground, they might help that one-on-one matchup.
Eddie comes in, he kicks his second, so Tipalora has 2. Eddie has 2, Wanderers have 4, and they lead 4 straight to zip.
Definitely didn't see this coming. This sounds a bit like last week, actually, saying it. I swear I'm not on repeat. You know, it is the Indigenous round. Raf, was there any Indigenous players that you really looked up to admire, you know, as a young fella coming through the ranks? Like, you've played in the AFL yourself and, you know, played a few premierships here in Darwin.
Yeah, I think lucky enough growing up around a, you know, successful club like St Mary's. You know, I wear number 8 because my childhood hero, funny enough, was Brian Sternisforth. You know, and some of the things he used to do. So, yeah, that's where my number 8 comes from. And, you know, for a local player, that was my favourite player. And, he knows that. And he was handed me, the number 8 jumper to play in. So that was special as well.
Riley Matricati was clever. Got it off there to his teammate and William Clark. And the better ball movement that time by the Buffs. Foster offers the lead. And here's a chance for their first score from 35 metres out, slight angle.
I think that's the first time I've seen Buffs get it in quick and the one-on-one injuries there. The Wanderers have been working back really, really hard and not allowing those lead-ups and intercepting really well. So that's a clearance out the middle, and the result is they get a shot on goal.
Foster. His first set shot of the night, normally pretty accurate. And as we so often see to that Michael Long centre end, the ball drifts away to the right-hand side. So behind only, at least they're on the board. But you've seen in a few games this year, they didn't hurt them last week. They have been inaccurate, the Buffaloes, 12-18. They had 19 more scoring shots than St Mary's. Strong tackle by Warwick Williams there on Kennedy. Umpire will ball it up, still inside Buffs forward 50. 18 minutes gone, first quarter. Good strength by Simpson. Good play by Newman. Sweeps it out wide. Wanderers go back inside. Clever kick. Nice mark taken by Hodgson. Waste no time at all. Ball comes up towards half forward. Bates, Moroney. A couple of quick players there. Moroney goes to ground. Bates soccers along in front, then scoops it up. He's got the pace, runs away and kicks towards goal. First behind of the night for Wanderers. A let off for the Buffs. 4-1 plays one behind.
So Wanderers lead 24 points in the 18th minute.
Joviak, the headband, tips, kicks to Coombs. Spent a bit of time at St Mary's, Raf.
Yeah, one of our St Mary's juniors. Never like to see good players leave, but yeah, he's gone for a new challenge, and he seems to fit in really well with Buffaloes, and he's enjoying his footy, which is good to see.
So he split a couple of Stokes there. Jared Stokes to Coombs, out to Bradley Stokes. Dylan Gordon out wide to Kennedy. He's giving them something through the middle. Trots down the outer wing. No one comes to him really. Finally unloads up towards half forward. Mitchell Taylor, been a stalwart for the Wanderers, wonderful footballer, and it's bashed out of bounds.
What about yourself, Rob? Who's been one of the most impressive Indigenous players you've ever seen, either playing or former players?
Oh, look, being a Carlton supporter, I'm a big fan of Eddie Betts, but I think it's hard to go past someone like Andrew McLeod, I think, yeah. But
Yep.
Current crop, I'm really liking Jack Martin. I think he's got an enormous future if his body holds up. Goes out of bounds in the right forward pocket for the Buffaloes. There's Tim Eldridge waiting to come back on for the Buffs.
I'm glad you said McLeod, being born and bred Darwin fella, and also ties to Buffaloes, if I'm right.
Yeah. That's it. And I think there's a guy at West Coast who's starting to excite a few people, a guy called Liam Orion.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. I'm a West Coast supporter.
There you go. Out of bounds on the wing. Buffs need a goal just before quarter time. They've only conceded 4 goals, which is probably, they'd consider that a little bit of a win given the dominance of Wanderers for most of this first term. Buffs have come back into the game as the quarter's worn on. Good strong mark by Chris Atkinson, the Buffs ruckman. 75 from goal, right half forward. To about 35 from goal. Spoiled away by Newman. Coombs is there. Palmer waits for it to come out. Handball smashed towards centre half back. Oh, strong tackle is laid. Seaton Kunith comes out with a footy. Sends it out wide. Buffs have numbers. Onto the chest of Bradley Stokes. Normally uses it pretty well. Pokes the kick inside to Bowles. And Patrick Bowles will kick from just outside 50. He's not a bad leg. I think he'd make the distance. He's got to aim at that left-hand goal post.
I'm kind of hesitant to ask you what you think, whether you think he'd get it, because, you know, the commentators curse.
And I'm one of the worst for it.
I don't know. I think Nick with the mo might be just as bad.
Oh, Nico.
Nico.
So
Nico
52 metres out. Bowles kicks it long, and I think that's fine. Even make the distance, but poor marking. Rare defensive error there by the Wanderers allows Foster to float in. Had an uninterrupted run at the footy and took a good mark. So he's had one set shot at goal already for a behind. Can he give the Buffs the first goal? The banana looks pretty good. No, it's across the face. 2 behinds, 2 points Buffs. Margin 23 points. Can't find the major opening.
So 22 minutes played in the first quarter. Wanderers 4-1, 25 to Darwin Buffaloes 2 points, so a 23-point lead. I think Coach Stokes will have a lot to say in the quarter break.
Newman, Tipalura, who's now up half back after kicking 2 goals across half forward early in the quarter. Dashing play by Loudon. Ahmad had his kick smothered. Dre Thompson scoops up the footy. Finds O'Connell right on the quarter time score. Nev?
You're watching NITV's coverage of the 2020-21 TIO NTFL season. At quarter time, Darwin Buffaloes trail Wanderers by 23 points, and we'll be back after this short break.
Love exploring the territory? If you do, it's good to know that with TIO Comprehensive Car Insurance, if you have an accident covered by your policy, we're here to help with the reasonable costs of towing, as well as your additional emergency accommodation and travelling costs. So get out there and explore. Get a quote today. TIO, we're for Territorians.
Head on in to Kazali's Palmerston Club. Business meetings, coffee breaks, or just unwinding, Kazali's has you covered. It's the perfect spot for a catch-up with friends, with stylish function areas suitable for any occasion. Sensational meals. Our family-friendly bistro has plenty of delicious options. All the latest machines in our modern gaming room. Get around the pool tables and prove your skills. Fancy a flutter? We've got full betting facilities available. Kazali's Palmerston Club, making a difference.
So we can feel forever, yeah, feel together, real together. No one can stop. No one can stop. Nothing could ever bring me down.
Time to escape, cause I'm in need of warmer weather. Sail upon the stream to find there's someplace better. And I'm going far and wide. Ooh.
Great Northern Brewing Co. The beer from up here.
Intersport, new concept store now open in Casuarina Square. Come in and check out a world-class shopping experience.
Dedicated sports zones.
Now stocking only the biggest brands in tennis, cricket, fitness from treadmills to benches, boxing, swimming, darts, pool and table tennis. For awesome service and advice,
Come and see it.
still locally owned and operated, the all-new Intersport concept store.
Now open at Casuarina Square.
AFL Northern Territory would like to remind spectators that congregating at the team huddles is not permitted during the breaks.
You're watching NITV's coverage of the 2020-21 NTFL Men's Premier League game on Larrakia country. Muck-Mucks lead the Buffaloes by 23 points. In the commentary box are Rob Cross, Raph Clark and myself, Nev McEwen. Raph, what do you think Coach Stokes would have said to the Buffaloes at the break?
I think a clear message, might have been just to move the ball a bit more direct. They went sideways a lot, which allowed Wanderers forward to roll back. And you see Wanderers intercept a lot of marks, and the deep forwards had to compete against one or two other Wanderers defenders. So if they go a bit quicker and straighter, I think that you definitely get some more chances for their forwards to be one-on-one. So yeah, if I was Stokes, that would have been my clear message.
So William Clark will start in the ruck for the Buffaloes. Chris Atkinson coming to the bench. See if this maybe is the scoring end. Is there a real scoring end here? You can see the flags often do favour that airport end.
Yeah, I think it may be because it's St Mary's then. Yeah, that's where our club is.
The mighty St Mary's, one of the great clubs of Australian football. So many premierships. Lucky enough to have Raph Clark with us here. St Kilda player, St Mary's star in the commentary box with us. As the ball's mopped up by McFarlane. He kicks high inside attacking 50. The right forward pocket. Almost the grab there was pretty courageous. Scooped up by Bates on the left foot. Curled around the corner. It's beaten the outstretched hand. And just across the face of goal from behind. Unlucky. Bradley Stokes spears the ball. Dangerous kick to Armat. He was wedged between two Wanderers players. The kick was pinpoint. Armat's kick long in the Gordon direction. McFarlane. Gordon goes off the ground. Riley Matricardi. William Clark sweats on the footy as well. Matricardi lays a strong tackle. Better intent by the Buffaloes.
So apparently after the game's finished, football great Mark Motlop will be presenting the cup to the winners after the game. I'll try and get that out.
Ties to both clubs, hasn't he? I think he's coached both clubs. Certainly coached the Buffaloes a few years ago.
And again, Motlop, one of those strong Darwin families, sporting families.
Yeah, Uncle Mark, I don't think there's any club he's hasn't been involved with. I think he maybe hasn't had a hand in St Mary's yet. So we tried to convince him there a few years ago, but yeah, I think he was happy at the Buffs at that stage.
And played a lot of NT representative football when it was happening, and in a lot of the winning teams, I believe. Man
loose across defence there. Feed Joe. They get away with it. McLean on the bounce. Outside 50. Oh, slipping the tackle there. Kick was just a little too tall, but Hodgson made it look good in the end. Stretched and Mark. Gave it back to Fijo. Gets away with pace from Stokes, and that's hard to do. Gives to McFarlane. They're away down the grandstand wing. The kick to Eddie. And Gordon worked his way to the front and socketed out of bounds. So they haven't made the change. They've stuck with Dylan Gordon. I think, as you pointed out, Raph, it probably wasn't so much. He was out-bodied, yes, but the delivery was so good. That was always going to be hard for Gordon.
Definitely a backman hates that one-on-one with so much space. All the forward has to do is turn you, and you go to, you're at that for that split second, and then it's all over. Someone as so good as Eddie in the form he's in, you give him that split second, and he's going to hurt you.
Mitch Garton. Well-balanced side, the Wanderers. Good mix of talls and smalls.
There he is.
Dre Thompson. Eddie at the back. One grab, two. Had the sit. And just as we talk about that man and that one-on-one battle, nice gesture by Dylan Gordon to help him up. And a look of resignation on his face, knowing who's beaten point blank. And Eddie will kick around the corner from 15 metres out and squeeze it through. Made the goal umpire work a little bit, but Eddie's got 3. Wanderers have 5. Buffs have none. And the lead is a healthy 30 points.
Rob, I'm very impressed with your mathematical skills. Nick and I struggle. We're in here usually holding up our fingers.
Get lucky sometimes, Nev. Eddie's away again. Have you got a preference these days for position, Raph? You seem to play a bit in the ruck, bit in defence, maybe get up forward. Or you...
Being quite lucky to be a bit of a just to fill in the hole and patch up, and which is what I enjoy, because you get to go all over the ground But yeah, I love half back, and which I got to play today, so round back the clock a bit, so didn't have to jump in the ruck and compete.
Yep. Dre Thompson has the ball stripped away from him. No free kick. Hodgson. Erlinson, hands and knees, wants to give it to Dre Thompson. Kennedy did well, reached in, punched it to ground and then mops up, kicks in the Palmer direction. Pushed away by Brenton Motlop. Motlop comes up with the ball. Palmer fights on. So does Motlop. Holds Palmer away. Plays it in front of himself. Still holds his ground. Beautiful strength there by Motlop. Just stayed in front of the contest and the ball goes out of bounds. So boundary throw in right forward pocket. Here's an opening for the Buffs. We're 5 minutes almost into the second quarter and they're goalless. Atkinson worked his way to the front. Collinson taken to ground. Coombs got a little bit of a run at the footy. Sidesteps. The tackle comes now. Gives it back to Kennedy. He can't shrug the tackle. Back to Atkinson was good. Clever to Coombs. From 50, Mickey Coombs unloads. 1-on-1. Ishmael Palmer's got it. That time too strong for Motlop. And Palmer from 15 metres out surely will bring up. It is a bit of a tough angle. You'd imagine he'll run around and kick the Buffs' first goal. And he does. Buffaloes are on the board at the airport end. 5 minutes gone second quarter there, 1-2, and the Wanderers are 5-2.
And their supporters love it. I can hear them all the way up here. We're almost like up there in the sky and we can hear them, so very passionate. But it's great to see the scoreline slightly reducing. Wanderers 32, Darwin Buffaloes 8 with 5 minutes played. Raf, talking about turn the clock back and all that sort of stuff, how long do you reckon you'll keep playing for?
I'm actually probably, I thought it was going to be my last season. I'm trying to tick the box of the 150 games so I can retire as a player life member for St Mary's. So I think I've got about 10 left. So hopefully the body stays fit and I can maybe finish it this year. And if not, I'll have to go around again. And but yeah, I'm getting on a bit. And if we've got young boys come in and can take my spot, then I'm happy to step aside from them.
What's the umpire going to do here? He's going to go against Mickey Coombs, who laid a crunching tackle on Joel Cabillo, but it was illegal, said the umpire, and Coombs might have winded himself. But he threw himself into the contest. Cabillo's okay. He comes up with a free kick. Nice weighted ball. Fiju ran under the football. He's close to the boundary line and goes out of bounds. So I caught up briefly with Richard Fiju ago. Yet another wonderful welcome to country before the game. I understand Ronald is his cousin's son. And there's a lot of backwards and forwards between Buffaloes and Wanderers for the Fiju family, I believe.
Definitely is.
He does such a passionate welcome to country and very moving.
Dreamtime game. Unbelievable.
People are still raving on about it, rightly so.
Look at the pressure around Coombs. It might have been a trip there. Was the umpire in good position? He was. Well, he actually wasn't that great a position. He had a lot of jumpers in front of him. Somehow saw it. It was a clear trip. Kennedy, poor kick on the bounce to Collinson. Oh, bad handball. Taylor does well, read it superbly. Seaton Kurnoth got in the way, but the ball squeezed out there by Totham. Hodgson. Dre Thompson comes up with a big mop of hair. Back to Atkinson. The big ruckman squeezes the kick out towards the wing. Dangerous O'Connell. O'Connell had the footy, lost it. Buffs back in some sort of control. Aaron Stokes spills the footy. Can he tap it onto a teammate? He can't. Coming up with it there is Daniel Fuller. He goes to ground. O'Connell slips, in fact, Seaton Kurnoth, I should say, slips the tackle. Back to Aaron Motlop, back to Josh Cabillo. It's a bit scrappy at the moment, but high intensity. High kick up towards centre half forward. 2-on-1 battle. Lots of blue jumpers around the footy at the fall. Comes to Bowles. He kicks it up towards the wing. Oh, Kennedy was about to run off the ground for an interchange. Realised the ball was coming in his direction. Comes back to McKenzie. Advantage paid. Up towards Stokes. Warwick Williams goes to ground, then does a very good job of laying a shepherd, allowing Newman to run onto the footy. Williams still scrappy, but again, very pressured footy. Comes back to Newman. He shrugs a tackle. Kicks up towards the wing in front of the grandstand. Bowles sets himself. Had time to wipe his hands in front of his shorts. Well done to McFarlane. Sells his teammate in a lot of trouble there. Dre Thompson. He goes to ground. Bumped off the footy there. Up towards half back. Nice little push away, comes to O'Connell. What can they set up? The Wanderers, nothing. The Buffaloes from Eldridge out to Bowles. And it's gone from half forward to half forward. And it might go back again. Williams runs under the footy. Foster comes out and meets it. Lovely strong tackle by Williams. Forces the turnover again. And the high kick there comes from Jordan Jeffrey up towards half forward. But still this pattern continues from half back to half back. Another dangerous kick there on the half volley from Pendlebury to Seaton Kernoth. Back to Stokes to Eldridge. And the ball is back on the half back flank as Daniel Fuller tries to rough Eldridge up a little bit. So for about 2 minutes, Raf and Nev, not much has happened as the ball from Eldridge is kicked out of bounds on the full.
Yeah, it's a red hot footy there for about 5 minutes, and I think it just needed someone to take the mark and settle it down, and because there was loose players out everywhere, but the intensity and the pressure was that red hot. They just kicked the kick and scrappy footy, but someone needs to settle it down and they'll take control of this game.
Umpires decided there's some shepherding, I think, in the contest, and the kick's going to come to Eddie. He's 55 out from goal. Players streaming inside the 50. In fact, Fuller comes up with it, gives it back to Eddie, kicks to a 2-on-1 battle in the goal square. Numbers there favouring the Buffaloes, and Pendlebury drops back and takes a strong mark.
Shannon Motlop has done a great job with Wanderers in his second year.
Certainly has. They were competitive last year. They got close on a lot of occasions, but finished, I think, second bottom in the end. But they certainly were better than that. And with a strong pre-season, good recruiting, they're the real deal this year. They're showing it tonight. They're Wanderers second on the ladder, really taking it to the top team, the Buffaloes, who's only lost this year. In fact, I think both teams' only lost this year has been to Nightcliff.
Yep.
Yeah, and Buffs are on top on percentage.
Simpson took it out of the ruck. Stokes to Seaton Kernoth. Across the face of goal. Moroney in front of Joel Cabillo. Back to Lachoviak. Side steps. Oh, nice footwork. Back to Moroney, back to Lachoviak. Had to reach for it a little bit. Was good enough to mop it up and kick to the wing. Running back of the flight. McLean was good just to put Matricardi off and allow his teammate to come through and spear the ball in the Bates direction, who marks on his chest 60 from goal at right half forward. Waste no time on the left foot. Over the top of Fuller. And the Buffs have got a chance to set up here. From half back, Pendlebury pokes a kick out towards the wing. Riley Matricardi's got the footy. Bit undecided. Over the top of Simpson. They've held them up pretty well, the Wanderers. They're not sure where to go. Back to Pendlebury. Pokes the kick over the top. And the mark's taken by Matricardi. Then out wide to Collinson. Collinson 60 from goal. Runs to 50. Oh, that kick's appalling. Will it stay in? It won't. He had little or no pressure on him. Taylor was slowly coming at him. Had plenty of time to weigh up the kick. And it missed his target in Stokes. And the kick will be taken by Motlop. Some frustration on the bench for the Buffaloes.
Yeah, I think Stokes kicked it away after he didn't stay in play for him. And
I did wonder that because I thought it had bounced out of bounds, but that's a sign of frustration.
It's a deliberate. They pay it against you for kicking the ball away, even though it didn't go out on the full.
Better build up by the Buffs, but let down by skills in the end. On the bounce to Foster. Again, the pass is just landing short. Frustrating work for the defenders. Ronald Fijo taps it to Newman. He's taken a very strong tackle. And I think that's Matricardi was the tackler. After burying his Wanderers opponent, does a nice thing and helps him up. William Clark over the top of Simpson. Stokes, handball to himself. Bowles clever, slaps it along, out towards Matricardi, whose kick is away to the left and a behind only. So they're trying hard. Don't quite have the system of Wanderers. Very low scoring second quarter, 1 goal apiece. It was 4-2 to 2 behinds at quarter time. Oh, one-hander, sticky fingers, wonderful grab on the full stretch. McFarlane scooped it up in the right hand. Off to Josh Cabillo. To Fuller.
I reckon it'd be pretty tough out there, Rob and Raf. It's like 31 degrees and still 69% humidity. What's that like when you're out there, Raf?
Yeah, these night games, it's you know, it looks perfect conditions, but that ball gets so slippery. I'd almost prefer to play in the rain instead of this this slippery conditions, because you sort of set yourself for the rain. But yeah, this footy, you think you're going to take a nice clean mark, and it's like a bar of soap.
Well played by the defence of Wanderers again. Although, yeah, it's come off. Hodgson, McFarlane. He pumps it and turnover. Pendlebury. McKenzie. Oh, they're undecided there. They waited for each other to come at the footy. Opportunity for Hodgson. His handball over the top is crudely taken down after he got rid of the footy by Lachoviak. Won't be advantage, and Hodgson will come up with it. Attacking side of centre for Wanderers. 14 minutes gone, second quarter. You sense that the Buffs can get into it. They're only 23 points down. They'd want one soon. They wouldn't want Wanderers to get another goal or two. And there might be one here. O'Connell, the goal sneak was wonderful. Mopped up at the back of the pack. One grab, scoop up, and then dribble the goal through. And just as I said, the Buffs might be creeping back into it and holding Wanderers. Wanderers get a very handy goal, and the margin now is out to 29 points.
Yeah, they're the ones that hurt you when you had an enormous amount of play this quarter and they just couldn't quite break through. You know, Wanderers get that deep entry, slips out the back, and O'Connell's he's not going to miss from there. The speedster and, you know, reigning Nicholas medalist. So
just the lovely hands,
class.
isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. The class, you see that there. No fumble, one step goal.
Did you get your favourite Indigenous player, Nev?
Oh, you really put me... Actually, you know what? I've got to say my cousin, because I might get killed, if I don't say his name. So, Liam Jones from the Blues. I said to my cousin, if you ever play for Collingwood, I can't barrack for you.
Yeah, what a career he's had. Started as a forward, now one of the gun defenders.
Oh, he's
great
done
story.
so great.
Yeah. And seems like a lovely bloke to boot.
Yeah, very tall, makes me look even shorter, almost like a hobbit.
He's almost ruckman height, isn't he? Like 6'6" or something.
He just gets his height from his dad's side, Uncle Bob Jones, who obviously St Kilda great as well. But they get that height from our Yeater side of the family, all the way from Halls Creek way, from our side, So, I'd say Liam Jones, Bunda.
Yeah, the Blues are building quite a team of Indigenous players, aren't they? Sammy Petrevsky-Seaton, Jack Martin, with, Williams joining as well. There's the Buffs. Long
Much needed goal.
Foster from behind. Good spoil away. Foster again. Over the top. Strong challenge came from Motlop. Allowed to get away with it, was he? Yes, he was. Up towards the wing.
Got to heard a whistle.
Yes, I think the players did well. They seemed to stop Maroney. Back to Riley Matricati. Back to Maroney. Oh, brilliance! Brilliant smother. Throwing himself across the boot of Maroney was McFarlane.
Oh, that would have hurt. I could hear it all the way up here, but that was impressive.
They're the inspirational acts, aren't they, Raph? They're not goals or high marks, but they've just stopped the flow of the Buffs.
Definitely, those 1%ers is what you love to see, and when your teammates are, battling like that and diving at footies, and that's the type of stuff that wins games and changes the momentum of games as well.
Coombs needs to lift a bit. Gave it to Aaron Stokes, and his high, quick kick is out of bounds on the full.
Something that I don't think's out of bounds, Rob, is I want to give you an award for your pronunciations. You're just a gun on that tonight, I have to say.
It's one I didn't check, so apologies to the Matricatis. I'm hoping that's right. It's maybe not a Matricati or something like that, but
I'm convinced.
One thing I know, you got Nick O'Reilly covered.
Dre Thompson, Ronald Fijo, Erlinson, Bo O'Connell starting to work into the game. Back to Fijo, who's getting busy as well. Erlinson back to Fijo. 3 touches in the space of about 10 seconds. Dre Thompson's long kick. Eddie from behind won't quite get to it. Clever nudge just underneath the footy. Opens a door, though, for O'Connell. Still got it off the ground. No way. Across the face. That would have been a miraculous goal.
Talking about Indigenous round. Oh, is it still in play? Yes.
Just.
Yep.
But you have a moment, I think, although strong pressure there came on Seaton Kurnoth. Comes up with the footy. Bates comes at him. Buffs have the numbers.
Young McKenzie came off there a bit groggy. He might have got a head knock. We'll keep an eye on that one.
Goes out of bounds. Nev.
Oh, no, it was just more, I was going to tell Raph a bit of a yarn about, how a lot of us Aboriginal mob, we love our blatchung, and your brother, I heard your mum makes really nice blatchung, so every time I see your brother, I hit him up like, oh, can I get some blatchung from Auntie Pam?
Yeah, it sells out pretty quickly, and then when she's making a batch for the family, like just for us kids, she makes sure no one hears about it because the phone starts ringing like crazy.
McFarlane was excellent then. He had 3 buffs around him. There's a turnover, though, and the Buffs might have a chance. Lachoviak marks in the middle. Love a goal here. Here's the speedster Eldridge. Run in and kick it, Tim Eldridge. Runs to 50. Vacant square. Has it got the legs? It hasn't. Running back with a flight, the ever-reliable Mitchell Taylor. One of my favourite NTFL players.
Yeah, good to see Mitchell back as well. I think he missed most of last year as well, and a few games this year. But
here's a chance for the Buff skipper. Has he got a team-lifting goal? He has. Gee, they needed that. And Jared Stokes is the man to deliver. They back to 2-3-15. The margin is 23 points. They stay alive.
If they can get another goal or two, I think, it's definitely a game.
Yeah,
game on.
Like I said, they had a lot of the players this quarter, Buffaloes. They just been unlucky not to capitalise, and Wanderers got that one late there with Bo O'Connell at the back when they had all the momentum, and hopefully, to their credit, they can get another one before half-time.
Warwick Williams there dropping the chest mark, and a wonderful one-handed pick-up by Jared Stokes. Had the poise then to turn onto the right boot and kick his first goal. He and Ish Palmer are the goal scorers for the Buffs. 3 to Brett Eddy, 2 to Stanley Tupulura, both in the first quarter, and 1 to Bo O'Connell. But the goal scorers for Wanderers. Clever tap down by Simpson was wonderful. Now to Josh Cabillo. On the bounce to Fijo. Maroney tackles him. Did he get rid of that legally? Play on was the call. Maybe a good decision. Tottenham squeezed a little kick out. Comes to Hodgson. Shrugs the tackle. Straightens up. Kicks on goal and hits the post. Unlucky. Brilliant play by Hodgson streaming into goal. That would have been the quick reply. But the Buffs get away with one. Oh, a turnover though. Mightn't get away with this. Joel Cabillo strolls into goal from 20. And there's the quick reply. Wanderers get their 7th, margin back to 30 points, closing on half-time.
And brought up Wanderers' 7th goal, whereas Buffaloes only have 2 on the board.
Coach killer, Raph.
Yeah, that's
done all the hard work.
That's it, like I just mentioned before, and they've done it to themselves again. Especially your kick-ins, you've got to be making sure you're picking that right decision, like we just seen it. 20-metre stab pass outside your defensive goal square, and you've got to hit those targets.
So umpire Sam Cunningham comes in. Well, I think it's Sam Cunningham. Well, he's in our sheet. He's number 5, so that's umpire number 6. Might check that with Amy Blake. Strong tackle on Matricati. Armat. Lachoviak. William Clark. Bowles. They're doing it tough here. Kennedy. Turnover. Comes back to Cabillo from Thompson. The stretch is there though. Dropped by Bowles. Mopped up by the Buffs up towards half forward. Playing in front off half back was good play by Newman. Gave it to McLean. Sweeps it out in the Taylor direction. In fact, it's Cabillo. Cabillo shrugs the tackle. Kicks to the wing. Beautiful poise and lovely skill gave to Simpson. Gliding by there was Williams. He's taken note. Shrugs the tackle there of Pendlebury. Just enough pressure to open the door for the Buffs. Good running there by Loudon. Oh, he's about to be taken in. A strong tackle by Hodgson. Comes back to Matricati. To Eldridge. Spears the ball in towards the pocket. Over the leading Foster, close to the boundary line. Running back is Newman. He's got Coombs there with him. And it goes out of bounds in the left forward pocket for the Buffs. Can't be long to go.
No, I'm sure Buffaloes would want that siren to go. Just so they can regroup.
They trailed by 24 points at quarter time. It's 30 points at the moment. So outscored again in this second term. 3 goals to 2. Brave kick. The mark was dropped. Opens the door. Eldridge dribbles it off his boot. Made no contact at all. And an opportunity goes begging. Up to the wing. Tottenham. Can he slip the tackle? Just does enough to gain about 20 metres. In the McFarlane direction again. He's had a terrific second quarter. Can't get away from Bradley Stokes. Maroney reached in a little bit, maybe didn't go quite hard enough. Totham's kick to Bates. The big bump came from Armat. Bates still with a footy though, wanted to give off, throws it on the right boot towards centre half forward. Fuller there, got pushed away from the footy. Pendlebury too big and strong, gives to Gordon. Gordon's kick into Michael Coombs, maybe one last chance if it sits. I don't think it will. McLean came the other way. The big bump, play on the call. And lucky for the Buffaloes as the ball was kicked back inside attacking 50 for Wanderers. Half time at TIO, Nev.
It is, and the Darwin Buffaloes trail Wanderers by 30 points. You're watching NITV's coverage of the 2020-21 TIO NTFL season from TIO Stadium in Darwin, and that concludes the first half of this Indigenous round. We'll be back after the break with some more deadly footy.
Love exploring the Territory? If you do, it's good to know that with TIO Comprehensive Car Insurance, if you have an accident covered by your policy, we're here to help with the reasonable costs of towing, as well as your additional emergency accommodation and travelling costs. So get out there and explore. Get a quote today. TIO, we're for Territorians.
Absolutely zero.
Zero.
Yeah, definitely.
It has to be zero.
Yes.
Yep.
Absolutely.
I don't think that's asking too much.
Domestic violence is everybody's business.
And it's not just the physical abuse, it's the things we don't see.
It is hurting our families. It is killing our families.
A lot of people have been silent to this fact, and I think it's about time we all speak up together and say no more to this form of abuse.
No more.
No more. No more family violence.
No more to the family violence.
No more. No more.
No more.
Time to escape, 'cause I'm in need of warmer weather. Sail upon the stream to find there's someplace better. And I'm going far and wide.
Great Northern Brewing Co. The beer from up here.
On Territory roads, anything can happen. So you need to drive to the conditions. Speeding can get you into all sorts of trouble. Dirt roads aren't just dusty. When it's hard to see, they're dangerous. At water crossings, remember, you're driving a motor car, not a boat. High water can be deep trouble. All sorts of animals can be on the road, so watch out. And if the weather is bad, slow down, you mob. Drive to the conditions and arrive in good condition.
The time to kickstart your business is now. Get your message across with the experienced local TV production team at Kick Digital. Cost effective, rapid turnaround, exceptional service. Kick Digital. Television production energised.
CFS Schoolwear is the perfect choice for quality custom-made school uniforms. Ideal for all school-related activities. 50 or 500 students, we have what you need. Contact CFS Gear for your free CFS Schoolwear quote today.
Getting my hands on the footy and just being with my mates.
I like being outdoors. It just makes me happy. I don't like it when I get yelled at.
It's pretty embarrassing when someone's shouting at you halfway through the game.
It makes me feel like I'm useless and I can't do anything.
We're just kids.
We're just here to have fun.
Let us do what we love.
Just let kids be kids.
AFL Northern Territory would like to remind spectators that congregating at the team huddles is not permitted during the breaks.
The NTFL clubs and umpires would like to share the following events and messages and thank their sponsors for the 2021 TIO NTFL season. For more information, please visit the relevant club or umpire's Facebook page.
Welcome back to NITV's coverage of the 2020-21 TIO NTFL season. Heading into the third quarter, Wanderers lead by 30 points. Raf, what do you think the coaches would have been saying at half-time?
Yeah, definitely Shannon would have been happy with the pressure Wanderers have bring all over the ground, and especially they're working both ways. They're working right back to forwards to help out their defenders, and their spread forwards have been really, really impressive. I think Cammy Stokes, I think it would have been the same message. If they slowed up the tempo, there's been loose players everywhere, but they've just rushed it a bit, and they put themselves under the pressure that they didn't have to be under. So I think if they, slow it up a bit and control the footy, I think it'll start opening up for them, and they might get some more reward for their effort.
Cammy Stokes was amazing. He was still talking to his players only 20 seconds ago. He was headed up towards the coach's box, and he sprinted back towards his defence to have one more word to them. You don't often see that. Leave that to your runners or water carriers, but no, the coach is getting heavily involved. He knows the importance of this game.
Must have forgot a message.
Yeah, and he wanted to deliver it himself. Atkinson wins the tap. That's a good start, and then taps to his own advantage, only as far as Ronald Fijo, who had an excellent second quarter across half forward. He started across half back. Gives it back to Williams. He's taken in a tackle back to Fijo. Slick there to Brenton Motlop. And they work it well out of defence, flaring it wide to Bo O'Connell. Trapped it cleverly. He's about to be run down. The handle over the top back to Fijo. He's kicked down the wing up towards half forward. Bates is there. Moroney went to ground. Bates tried to fend him off. Might have been taken a little high. Stokes' strength shrugged away his opponent. Bates shrugs away Armat. Curls the kick around only as far as Ryan Pendlebury, and he marks it left half back. Big quarter for the Buffs required. They trail by 30 points. Loudon marks and then goes. Runs around his opponent. Kicks in the Gordon direction. He's floated a long way down. Maybe he's moved forward, Raf.
Yeah, it looks like the move has been made. Who's that? On Eddie now, I might call it.
Might be William Clark, perhaps, the other ruckman that they've been using.
Yep.
Big-bodied player. Yeah, William Clark's down there on Eddie. Interesting change. Dylan Gordon, very versatile player. He's gone up to help Ishmael Palmer in attack. Foster there as well for a big body. Taken out of the ruck. Kick around the corner. Oh, Stokes got a lovely bounce on the left boot. And pinpoint kick right on the line. Atkinson takes the mark. Wheels and goes. In towards the pocket. Foster comes out, traps it well to Aaron Stokes. High swirling kick. Is it going towards goal? It did. Did Mitchell Taylor get a hand to it? Just. And through for one behind. Gee, that would have been some sort of goal from Stokes. But the Wanderers clear the ball. Only as far as Matricati dropped the mark. Dre Thompson comes up with it, and the door will open. McFarlane has a bounce, has two. Runs through the middle of TIO Stadium with a third bounce. Has a fourth. Can he go all the way and kick the goal from 40? Vacant goal square, McFarlane! What a ripper! Ran 80, 90, 100 metres and brings up the first goal of the third quarter. And the Wanderers skip away to a big lead now. It's 35 points. He got it at half back and ran through the centre square.
Yeah, that fumble from Buffalo's on that kick in. It would have went the other way and they would have been able to shot on goal, but slipped at the back and he read it really well.
Doing quite well in his first NTFL season as well.
Tough now for the Buffs. 8-3 to 2-4. 3 minutes into the third quarter. Mitchell Taylor there having a word from the coach. Simpson, big fly. Coombs. He lifted his team. Excellent mark across half-back by Newman. Dre Thompson done some exciting things. Bounce and then kicks to Fuller. Set a half forward just inside the centre square. O'Connell calling for it. Gives it to McFarlane, who kicked that wonderful goal. Long to Cabillo. Smashed away. Bates roves it beautifully front and centre. And then a free kick, though. It's going to Bradley Stokes. Pinpoints the kick out wide to Riley Matricati. Jared Stokes times the bump neatly. Taken in a tackle, got the handball away. Bowles. Some of the midfielders, Raf, really haven't done enough, have they, tonight? They've drifted in and out. Bowles, Coombs,
Yeah,
they're capable, but they're being beaten badly.
Haven't got their hands on the footy as much as they'd liked. They're the game breakers, especially Stokes.
Seaton Kernoth off the ground. Dre Thompson hammered it like Mo Salah for Liverpool. Comes to Moroney, and Dre Thompson lays a very good smother, and the ball goes out of bounds. So the desperation has been ramped up again by Wanderers.
Yeah, definitely that pressure has impressed me tonight by Wanderers, and we've seen that's probably the second or third smother we've seen in desperation like that. And young Thompson, awesome work to push up and get another stoppage in the forward half from him.
Simpson and McKenzie. Hodgson. Loudon lays the tackle. Inside attacking 50 again. Desperation by O'Connell. Charged at the footy. Kept it in front of himself. And then the low kick wanting Eddie. He couldn't get away from his opponent there in Clark, who's probably a stronger body than Dylan Gordon, who's gone forward. Turnover to Simpson. He marks directly in front, 50 metres out. Big man, Eddie Simpson.
Yeah, anytime you turn inside too from the back pocket, you're always going to play that risk, and you've definitely got to hit. That's another coach killer like we spoke about earlier, but unlucky for Buffaloes, it didn't come off, and Wanderers get another chance.
For a 41-point lead, the 5.5-minute mark of the third quarter. From 48 metres, thumping kick by Simpson. It's all Wanderers here at TIO Stadium. They'll grab top spot tonight if they keep this up. At the moment, very hard to see the Buffs coming back. They've kicked just 2 goals for the night.
With 5 minutes played in the third quarter, Wanderers move to 57 points to Darwin Buffaloes 16. So a 41-point lead. Can the Buffaloes come back?
Silence in the room. I don't think any of us think we all tipped the Buffaloes.
Yeah, that pressure, forward pressure from Wanderers, makes some Buffaloes defenders rush that kick and end up kicking to a bad spot like that, and it's a turnover goal again.
Changes being rung by the Wanderers. Mitchell Taylor's going to enjoy a bit of time up on the forward line. Aaron Motlop's come on as well. Mitch Garton's come into the ruck. Up against McKenzie. Choviak's gone to the middle. Here's the racehorse, the skipper. Stokes sidesteps, has a bounce, might run into trouble again, gets onto his left boot, hooks the kick around, and Jared Stokes kicks a wonderful goal from the middle. Just when you needed something special, the captain delivers again, his second goal of the night. We've seen some ripping goals. McFarlane kicked one this quarter from Wanderers from half back up towards centre half forward and banged it home. And from the centre break, away went Jared Stokes for a tremendous goal on his left boot, if you don't mind. He sold a bit of candy, got around a couple of players, almost ran himself into trouble, maybe almost ran too far there, just got the bounce in, forced onto the left boot. Such is his skill at high speed, was able to bend it around for a great goal.
Yeah, that's bloody backing yourself and confidence right there, and that's an amazing goal. Awesome to see.
So back in the middle again. Kennedy gives to Bowles. He throws it on the left boot. Good courage shown there by Hodgson. Williams. In front of the Morris Rioli grandstand. Aaron Stokes. Fijo wanted the boundary. A kick by Totham, I think it was. Kennedy's taken down in a hammering tackle by Hodgson.
You get a sense that lifted the Buffaloes, that goal.
Yeah, if they got that, they got the double back, 2 clearances then, and if they got another shot on goal, then they definitely would have brought the crowd alive.
Hodgson wanted that footy so much he got dragged down by the Buffaloes, and then the squaring kick is excellent out to Brenton Motlop. It could open up the outer side of the ground. Dre Thompson's in front of Moroney. Drops the mark, but good enough at ground level to come up with the ball. Gets back onto his right boot. Centering kick, wanting Josh Cabillo. Just missed the target. Seaton Kernoth gets it away. Atkinson's got 2 to beat. Shrugs the tackle brilliantly of Garton. Gave it back to Darcy Matricardi. Kick up towards half forward. Gordon at the second attempt. Grabs the mark. Wants to play on quickly. Kicks in towards the forward pocket. Great play by Williams. He got around Stokes, who's having a rest up in the forward pocket. Up towards Atkinson, had 2 to beat. Garton comes to Matricardi. Back inboard towards Bowles. Lachoviak comes up with it, shrugs a tackle. Can he shrug Aaron Motlop? He did, but the handball wasn't effective. Bates received there from Hodgson on the right boot. Bates kicks up towards half forward. Whistle's gone, might be down the field. Taylor flew, but it's a down the ground free kick to Mitchell Taylor of Wanderers. Or is it McFarlane? No, Taylor's going to take the kick. Probably too far out to score. Buff's bench looks tired. Spearing ball to Josh Cabillo. Superb kick. And Josh Cabillo marks in front of Seaton Kernoth. And Wanderers will line up for their 10th goal of the night.
Yeah, it's very, it's like defending ball Buffalo's in. They had the numbers. They just needed to sit someone in that hole. And, you know, Cabillo's lead is none or void. But they let him have all that space and he just rolsed into it. And Taylor with a superb kick.
So Cabillo from 40 metres out kicks a very good goal. Well done, Josh Cabillo. Just a couple of metres in from the boundary line at right half forward. Wanderers get their 10th goal. 10-3-63. It's a 41-point lead again. The Buffs 3-4-22.
That man who just kicked the goal with Josh Cabillo, born and raised in Darwin. His mob are Larrakia and Wodjuk. So doing some deadly things in Indigenous round.
Yeah, definitely another big Darwin family, the Cabillos. Yeah, they're everywhere.
It's almost like Cabillo, Stokes, Motlop tonight. If other people weren't really familiar with it, they'd think that we were going crazy in the box here.
Atkinson against Garton. Hodgson's had an excellent third quarter. Lachoviak. Loudon. Darcy Matricati kicks it up towards half forward. McLean, though, mops up for the Wanderers. Gives it to Brenton Motlop. In front there, might have been Eldridge. Wanderers get it to centre half forward. Cabillo comes belting out. Dishes the handball off there. Up towards Eddie. He's got front spot. Still holding front spot. Gliding by is Mitchell Taylor. Close to the boundary line. 30 metres from goal. Goes off the ground, Mitchell Taylor. Dre Thompson scoops it up on the right boot. Dre Thompson kicks a terrific goal. It's raining 6-pointers at TIO Stadium. They cannot miss the Wanderers. They are heaping pressure on the Buffaloes. And the Buffaloes do not like it. 11-3 to 3-4. It is now a 47-point lead to the Wanderers.
I reckon if his mob from Kakadu are watching, they would be excited.
Yeah, that was a super goal by the young fella. Backed himself, the one-handed scoop, and he knows where the goals are. Certainly, he didn't have to look.
And the lead extends out to 47 points.
8 goal scorers now, so they're really sharing it around. Leading goal scorer Brett Eddie, 3. Stanley Tipalura kicked 2 in the first quarter, none since. And 6 single goal scorers for the Wanderers.
Looks like the second annual Nungalinga Cup is heading to the Muckmucks.
Shed's going to be rocking later.
Yeah, look out. The Eagles will be flying.
Cabillo having a turn in the middle. Wins the footy. Armat does well running back with the flight. Takes a courageous mark between fullback and centre half back at the airport end of TIO Stadium. 4 goals to 1 this quarter in the first 12.5 minutes of the third term.
We've been talking about the Nungalinga Cup in Larrakia. It's a place where the Larrakia spirit comes from the earth and goes into the mother's belly, and life for the Larrakia commences. Pretty special.
Yeah. Hodgson, handball to himself, might be penalised for dropping it. And Armat wins the free kick. Looks inboard. He's got Pendlebury now. Buffs need to get a move on. Bradley Stokes has been pretty solid across half-back. Kicks beautifully with both feet. Left foot kick, but looked for Jared Stokes. Lots of yellow jumpers, and yellow jumpers are everywhere. The kick went to his brother and skipper Jared. He had 3 Wanderers players around him, and it was turned over. And the kick now is in the arms of Brett Eddie, line out for his 4th. Seem dispirited at the moment, don't they, Ruff? The Buffs really disjointed.
Yeah, it's a big surprise after the massive win they had last week over us. They're looking pretty deflated. You thought they would have came out, and that's why at the start of the game it was a sort of a hard one to pick, and definitely didn't expect this.
Eddie does the right thing for the Wanderers from directly in front from 35. He gets his 4th goal. And the margin is a whopping 53 points.
Brett Eddie, all class. He played 150 games for the South Australian National Football League, for South Adelaide and Port Adelaide. And looking like he might get the leading goal kicker.
He had a couple of years for Port Adelaide Football Club too, and played three AFL games for 3 goals, I think, from memory.
Yeah, he was recruited to Port Adelaide as a mature age rookie.
Yep.
Pretty deadly one.
Simpson won it out of the ruck, handballed, and then kicks it off the ground up towards half forward. Bo O'Connell keeps it in front of himself. Armat comes at him. Still O'Connell going. Might still be a chance. Over the top was Matricardi. McKenzie. Kennedy, or Loudon in fact it was. Going back the other way, the hard body there of Cabillo. Gave it off to McFarlane. Just reaching in was Aaron Stokes. Pendlebury, good pressure came from Bates, and it lands right on the line for out of bounds. Well done by Simon Bates. He wants out of bounds on the full, but it landed on the line.
Yeah, the muck-mucks can taste a bit of blood. That pressure's just lifted again, and they're all over the Buffs at the moment. It could get ugly if Buffs don't settle and find another couple of goals.
Wonderful accuracy, isn't it? 12-3. I guess they've been taking most of their shots through the corridor, haven't? And the ones that have been in the pockets, they're kicking those as well. Simpson, hands and knees, the big man. Loudon got it out to Jared Stokes. Still got to do it all himself. Paddles along in front. Cabillo runs into Gordon. 2 big men collide. Matricardi, Kennedy. Sweating on him is Aaron Motlop. The pressure is good. Tipalura comes out to the back of the pack. McKenzie, Aaron Stokes. Around the corner looking for Jared Stokes. The body of Gordon stood in the way. Back to Kennedy. Clever kick. Kennedy's dealt with late by Hodgson. Advantage paid. Comes to Aaron Stokes. Comes to Collinson. Could have run in a bit closer, but drills it down the throat of Foster, who marks 50 metres out. He's a noted goal kicker and a pretty good kick, but he's got to thump this about 52 metres on pretty tired legs. They've been made to work hard, the Buffaloes. Boy, they need it if they're any hope at all. They can kick goals quickly. Foster, though, can't swing it around enough and won't have the distance. Goes in towards the forward pocket. Lots of yellow jumpers around. Off hands and out of bounds.
Ref, as an Indigenous player in the NTFL, how special is it that there is a dedicated Indigenous round?
Yeah, definitely. And it does, you get to wear your deadly Indigenous Guernseys, which makes you proud to, put on that Guernsey. I think ours was designed by Lulu Coombs. She's pretty famous for doing a lot of that stuff up here in the Territory. Her artwork, and it's awesome, and it's good to see all sporting, the things up here in the Territory are getting involved and doing that in the basketball and everything else. So it's awesome to see.
And look at this Wanderer movement from the back pocket all the way up to the half forward. The bounce didn't come back to Dre Thompson, but he socketed off the ground. Fuller there for support. Dre Thompson from the boundary line. This one's across the face. Maroney tried to trap it, but he couldn't. Off hands and through for behind.
How quick is he?
He's an excitement machine.
The whole transfer of the ball from the back line to the forward line took about 3.5 seconds. They are flying at the moment, Wanderers. They lead by 54 points, 18 minutes into the third quarter. It's been a 5-goal-to-1 third term. Eddie stretches, can't mark. McFarlane has kicked the goal of the night so far. Pendlebury around the corner, stretching Latroviak over his head. McLean stands in the way. Latroviak might have another opportunity. And his hands and knees gives to Seaton Kurnoff. He's grabbed by the arm, shrugged it, kicks around the corner. Warwick Williams meets the footy in front of Dylan Gordon. Comes to Bowles, gives it to Collinson, back to Kennedy. Kennedy for the Buffaloes on the wing, kicks up towards half forward, over Eldridge's head. And running into it there is Jordan Jeffrey. To Motlop. Ishmael Palmer came at him hard. The numbers with Wanderers. Hodgson Fake the handball to McLean. Bounces off Warwick Williams. Still has plenty of time to give it back to Aaron Motlop. He sends it back out to McLean as Gordon takes Motlop down late. No real malice in it, just a little clumsy. On the bounce, the Wanderers go up towards centre half forward. Through the hands. Tipalura couldn't grab the footy. Lachoviak for the Buffs.
This next kick is the one that's been letting Buffaloes down. It's they're going too slow.
I've really struggled a bit with the target. I mean, it's obviously slow movement, but Ish Palmer probably hasn't had a great night. Foster hasn't had a great night.
Yep.
As Matricati kicks in the Foster direction. All credit to the defenders of Wanderers. Now Foster from the pocket, kicks on goal, and he's missed another one. I reckon that's about his third behind for the night, at least, from Brody Foster. Buffs creep up to 3-5-23. 53 points behind the Wanderers. Newman. Back to Williams, who's had another good night. Really strong defender for Wanderers. Oh, dangerous kick, but everything's coming off. Tottenham made space at centre half forward between two Buffaloes. The kick was pinpoint. All the answers at the moment. Tottenham pressured. Newman's kick in the Josh Cabillo direction. Beat off Dylan Gordon. Came up with it at ground level. Just got scragged by the jumper and was taken down late and might get a free kick, which he will.
Yeah, I think Big Gordon's getting frustrated. He's carried on with those few of those tackles a bit late and held on a bit too long, and that's the second one he's given away in the last 5 minutes. Frustration showing.
Yeah, absolutely. Josh Cabillo has had a good night all over the ground. Bit in the middle, bit up forward. He's kicking from half back. Lachoviak for the Buffs. Can he excite his blue teammates? Big fly from Palmer. Comes down to Collinson. Off to Palmer. Goes to ground. Gordon comes in to grab the footy. Back to Ish Palmer, to Eldridge. He's kicking towards the pocket, looking for Foster, who picked it up very well on the half volley. He set a big task. Gordon tries to ride the tackle. Back to Eldridge, went without the footy. Tried to reach for it to the side. Ishmael Palmer crunched. Was he taken high? He was falling to the ground. Play on the call. The snap from Bowles is high and wide and through for another behind to the Buffs. And the margin's 52 points the Wanderers' way.
Yeah, unlucky not to get maybe 2 free kicks. The high one first and then the soccer, and almost was in danger from Brenton Motlop then.
Braden McLean will be a happy skipper of the Wanderers. Kicks out in the Simpson direction, spoiled away by Moroney, giving away a lot of size.
I think that side of the stadium will be rocking later on tonight with Wanderers.
They've had their view blocked though, haven't they, with that little stand there?
Yeah,
it's right in front of the clubhouse.
Yeah.
Is it the Shannon Motlop stand?
The Motlop stand.
I was driving past today and I was wondering whether they should build another level so they can look over the top of the stand. A bit of a deck or something.
Hopefully someone's listening to you, Rob.
The other thing I was thinking as I drove in today, what a wonderful complex Marara is. I went past the rugby ground. That was packed. There were people almost queuing up at the gate to get in there. The car park here at TIO Stadium was full because there were games on TIO number 2, TIO number 1. Great atmosphere.
Yeah, definitely, and the rugby guys had the Indigenous round last week, which was awesome to see as well. And the basketball, just down the road, had their Indigenous rounds this weekend as well.
Yep.
And it's NAIDOC week.
That's it.
Happy NAIDOC week to everybody.
Absolutely. Kennedy. Oh, here's a goal, surely, unless the three-quarter time siren's going to blow. Eldridge, although they close him down pretty quickly, and there's no one to kick to because there are Wanderers jumpers everywhere. And again, they might be forced into the pocket. He squares it up finally. Foster through his fingertips. And away goes Braden McLean. He's racked up getting possessions in the last few minutes. Kicks up towards the wing. 1 grab, 2. And Erlandson takes a very strong mark to McFarlane. Pokes a little kick backwards to McLean. They're desperate not to concede a goal. They're ruthless tonight, the Wanderers.
Yeah, that back six has worked really well together, and they've rolled off every time to help. Foster's, had to compete against 1 or 2 every time he's competed for the ball.
They're not a huge defence, are they, in terms of stature, Rafford?
Nah,
Warwick Williams is a reasonable size. Brenton Motlop's not overly tall, but solid.
About that 5'10".
Yep.
Yeah. only 1 or 2 6-footers.
Doing the job though. Oh, Fijo shrugs the tackle beautifully, gives it off to Mitch Garton. He goes backwards towards O'Connell. Desperate effort to smother came from Maroney. High kick to Eddie. Oh, that would have been the mark of the century from Hodgson. He spilled it at the last moment. Comes to Seaton Kernoth.
He's knocked his teammate out.
Flying over the top of Eddie.
Flying like an eagle, hey?
Oh, lovely. Lovely work, Nev. Choviak. Bradley Stokes is the last player to touch the footy in the third quarter, and it was a miserable one for the Buffs, Nev.
Yeah, definitely. Still hoping they will kick a few more goals because they are a class side.
Yeah, old Cammy Stokes. He's done a lot of work tonight. He's kicked a couple of goals and he's trying his heart out, but he just needs some of his teammates to get on board and help him out.
You're watching NITV's coverage of the 2020-21 TIO NTFL season from TIO Stadium in Darwin. At three-quarter time, the scores are Darwin Buffaloes 3-6-24 to Wanderers 12-4-76. We'll be back after this short break.
Love exploring the territory? If you do, it's good to know that with TIO Comprehensive Car Insurance, if you have an accident covered by your policy, we're here to help with the reasonable costs of towing, as well as your additional emergency accommodation and travelling costs. So get out there and explore. Get a quote today. TIO, we're for Territorians.
Head on in to Kazali's Palmerston Club. Business meetings, coffee breaks, or just unwinding, Kazali's has you covered. It's the perfect spot for a catch-up with friends, with stylish function areas suitable for any occasion. Sensational meals. Our family-friendly bistro has plenty of delicious options. All the latest machines in our modern gaming room. Get around the pool tables and prove your skills. Fancy a flutter? We've got full betting facilities available. Kazali's Palmerston Club, making a difference.
So we can feel forever, yeah, feel together, real together. No one can stop. No one can stop. Nothing could ever bring me time to escape, 'cause I'm in need of warmer weather. Sail upon the stream to find there's someplace better. And I'm going far and wide. Ooh.
Great Northern Brewing Co. The beer from up here.
Intersport, new concept store now open in Casuarina Square. Come in and check out a world-class shopping experience. Dedicated sports zones. Now stocking only the biggest brands in tennis, cricket, fitness from treadmills to benches, boxing, swimming, darts, pool and table tennis. For awesome service and advice, still locally owned and operated, the all-new Intersport concept store. Now open at Casuarina Square.
AFL Northern Territory would like to remind spectators that congregating at the team huddles is not permitted during the breaks.
Welcome back to NITV's coverage of the 2020-21 TIO NTFL Men's Premier League game. Wanderers lead the Darwin Buffaloes by 52 points. A lot of people didn't see this coming, Raf. Which players are you expecting big things from in this final quarter?
Well, you think Buffaloes, wouldn't want to finish the game, like this. So the midfielders probably need a lift. Mikey Coombs has been a bit quieter compared to his game last week. And Stokes, he's had a bit of the footy, but normally he's had 3 or 4 shots on goal and probably 30 touches by now. So, and the other midfielders, wingers for Buffaloes. I think their back six, their ball use as well has to get better. They've put themselves under a lot of pressure. So if they get this last quarter right and hit some targets, you never know, they could come back out with a respectable score at the end of the game.
Yeah, and add from their 3 goals, 6 that they have on the board at the moment.
Definitely.
And they're off.
Yeah, Stokes, here he goes. Stokes is going to get the first one.
Representing the Larrakia people.
As Eldridge goes deep. That's a...
Brodie Newman, the Rising Star nominations for round 6, did well there with that mark.
Yeah, definitely. Now it's out to Aaron Motlop, the old statesman. Retired last year and he's come back for another year.
And doing all right.
Yeah, he's doing really well. He's put in some hard work and he's looking really, really fit, Aaron. So it's good to see him enjoying his footy and having a kick again.
I actually saw him down at the Wanderers training the other night and looked very focused.
Yeah, this probably shows why he was a captain for NT Thunder for about 4 or 5 years there. He's once he went to do something, his mind's set and he definitely puts in all the work he can to make sure he's ready to go.
Looks like they're like, hey, where's that ball gone? Now he's jumping over. Can do a lot of things, not only play football. Looks very hot out there too. Look at on the screen, Wanderers bench. I think I saw Tony Fuller there.
Oh, got a bit of a off-ball incident.
The spectators don't sound very happy.
Looks like Wanderers player's been knocked out, I think, or is he?
Oh no! Oh no, he's getting up.
He's up. Might have played for it really well then, I think. Got the kick reversed and now he's good.
Another ball up or throw in.
The stoppage at half-back line for Buffaloes.
What do you think Cameron Stokes would have been saying to the boys?
Yeah, I think it's more about fighting for that, finish with a respectable score. They've been disappointing tonight, especially after last week, like I mentioned earlier. They really did give us a touch-up and, we were in this same position last week, so, start focus on next week. You need to finish off strong and take some positives out of this last quarter and build on it for next week.
Trying to work out what's going on there.
Yeah, I think the wrong player was trying to take the kick. I think McLean was trying to get a quick cheap one there, and it wasn't his kick. Captain, I think he's allowed to try and take a couple of kicks off his teammates when it's not his.
Backing up your fellow like a captain that you are. You're the co-captain of St Mary's.
Yeah, it's a bit of an honour. It's something I've always dreamed of doing as a young fella, and especially when I got to play footy really early at senior level and play with some of my idols like Brian Stanislaus, like I mentioned earlier, and got to win a premiership with him when I was 17. So that was one of my highlights in my career coming through.
And I know that this is not St Mary's, but just out of curiosity, you're also been coached by Anthony Vallejo, who you played with as well.
Yeah, that's the funny thing was my first premiership was with Anthony Vallejo and his brother Iggy, another champion, Cyril Rioli Senior, Willie Rioli Senior, and very lucky that year to be in amongst those superstars and win a premiership at 16, 17, I think I was. Yeah.
Ball up on the wing. I've been impressed by Ronald Fijo tonight. Raf, he's had a tremendous night. He was the player that transferred the ball up towards the wing then.
Yeah, he's showing a lot of dash. I think he played a bit of footy down south just recently. I'm not quite sure where that was. Where was
Ball goes towards half-forward flank, but it's going to be another Wanderers footy, I think.
I might have got that wrong. I think he was talking. I had a chat to him the other day, and he said he was maybe looking to go down south and have a run. I think he was talking about the Sandful. So, you know, all the best to young Fijo. He's definitely got the talent and some speed, so he'll have an impact down there.
Absolutely. He's already picked up a NT News Rising Star nomination this year in round 4, so he's having a good season. Lachoviak. Joel Cabillo comes at him late from behind. Gordon sticky fingers. That's better movement by the Buff, something we haven't seen all night. A lovely kick by Lachoviak, and Gordon takes the mark.
Yeah, definitely. That's what we spoke about, getting it in there a bit quicker and a bit earlier, and giving those forwards a one-on-one matchup, and that low hard pass is hard to intercept, and Wanderers defenders couldn't roll off like they have been all night.
For the first score of the final quarter from either team after 5 minutes into the term, Gordon kicks on goal. Goal umpire had to do a bit of work to get around the players in the goal square. Finally got there, and it's been adjudicated as one behind only. So their inaccuracy continues, the Buffs. 3-7. Wanderers 12-4. Newman takes the mark. Kicks to McFarlane, who'll have a candidate for goal of the year out of tonight's game. He took the ball at centre half back at the Michael Long centre end and ran all the way through the centre square to the 50 arc and kicked the goal. Handball over top from Simpson, looking for Taylor. Hodgson there as well. And again, Raf, I go to this point of this really good mix of big, small, medium-sized players that Wanderers have.
Yeah, definitely. They've got a great spread around the ground. And
Dre Thompson lays a tackle. He's having a wonderful game.
The leg speed as well.
Mackenzie's kick is superbly weighted into the path of Riley Matricati. He wanted to give a handball off. There was no one there. Finally gets support from Kennedy. Gives to Mackenzie. His skipper, Jared Stokes, is on the boundary, half calling for the footy. Foster goes to ground, nudged under the footy by opposite number 19, Jordan Jeffrey. Braden McLean's had a ripping night. Clever kick round the corner, finds Warwick Williams. He kicks to Ronald Fijo, the excitement machine, and he marks at half back. And goes out towards the wing. Erlinson has to stretch and couldn't quite reel it in.
Exciting stuff from Ronald Fijo, Larrakia man, and
Fantastic.
Darwin born and bred.
Yeah. Had good success at underage footy with Wanderers. Captained the under-18 boys in 1920 and also 2018-19. Seaton Kurnoth, he's an exciting young Buffaloes player who's had a solid night. Probably one of the better Buffs players on a lousy night for them. Marcus Totham slips. Gives it to Warwick Williams. He just charges through centre half back. Kicks in the Joel Cabillo direction. Seaton Kurnoth that opens up for the Buffaloes. Runs to 45. High kick on goal, but he's across the face as well. Another behind. 3-8 to 12-4.
I was kind of holding my breath there, thinking, oh my God, yes, go.
Super effort there by Tim Eldridge in the middle to create that turnover and get Buffaloes another shot on goal.
It's great to see him back, isn't it? Was it last year or the year before? A shocking back injury.
Yeah,
the back injury all the season.
Wasn't sure if he's ever going to make it back, so it's good to see him, and he hasn't slowed him down for throwing his body in there, and that one was definitely, pretty example of his effort for the footy and putting his body on the line.
Deep breaths being taken on the Buffs bench. Drinks have been run ragged. By comparison, the Wanderers are still standing on their feet as they wait to come back on. They want more goals. Totham does well. Gives it out to Bo O'Connell. Hacks the kick into vacant space. Blue jumpers, though, surround the footy. Just took his eye off the footy at the last moment, did Bradley Stokes. Thompson came over to put some pressure on. Poor kick by Seaton Kurnoth. Aaron Motlop going in hard there was Hodgson. Comes to McFarlane, twisting away. Awkward kick on the non-preferred left foot. Gives Eldridge a chance. Eldridge kicks to Gordon. One grab, not the second. Good pressure came from Fuller, and the ball goes out of bounds. Gordon saying to the umpire, did I do enough? No, I don't think he did.
Yeah, he got a bit of a two hands in the back there, I think. He was a bit unlucky.
I wanted the free kick. Yeah,
yeah, I would have thought he was free kick. Yeah.
Surprised you say that, Raf. As a defender, I thought you would have thought that Fuller did nothing wrong.
Gordon's had a tough night, so
feeling sorry.
Yeah,
bit of compassion.
Yeah. Fellow defender. I'd like to see him get a mark.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, he's just having a stint up forward, isn't he? His true colours are in defence.
It'd be like compassion in the box, but not on the field.
Yeah.
No way.
Newman. Maroney screaming on the mark, saying, hold on, he stepped over his mark. Play on, surely. Finally plays on and gives it back to Ronald Fijo.
There's Eldridge again, throwing his
Absolutely.
body in.
It was a pretty good kick. Look, path to Simpson, but you're right, Eldridge was superb reaching around. Aaron Stokes kicks one high in the Gordon direction. That's a great grab over the top. Had Jordan Jeffrey dropping back. He had Fuller from behind. And Gordon, Raf Clark-esque, can do it at both ends.
Yeah, he deserves a goal, the big fella, for the the hard night, trying to stop Eddie early, and he lost that battle, and then put him up forward, so he deserves a goal for his effort, and presented it all well, pretty good tonight. So I think he's kicked it good on you, big fella.
Well done by Gordon.
Another Larrakia man, Dylan Gordon, also from, I don't know how you're saying it. Raf, do you know how to say Marathale?
Marathale?
Yeah.
Marathale?
Yeah. But definitely repping, and that was a great goal. With the 10 minutes played in the fourth quarter, Wanderers still lead by 44 points to Darwin Buffaloes.
Jared Stokes 2, their leading goal scorer. Palmer and Gordon, singles each, and 8 goal scorers for the Wanderers. Wanderers haven't scored this quarter. 1 goal, 2 to the Buffs. There's a free kick for in the back going to Josh Cabillo. What a player to be able to come back into this side. Been playing at centre half forward. Fair stint in the middle today, and a 50-metre penalty will take him to probably just inside the 50, and a chance to kick his second goal of the night. A kick from about 45 metres out. For their 13th goal of the night. After the Buffs had closed it to 44 points, and it's now 45 points with that miss away to the right-hand side. Trey Thompson gets in front of Aaron Stokes. Stokes got it at ground level. Darcy Matricardi, lovely hands by Aaron Stokes at his bootlaces. Picked it up and then thumps a beautiful 40-metre kick to Bowles, who marks on his chest between wing and half forward. Bowles kicks it to Loudon running into half forward. He wants to play on. No, is he allowed to? No, he's got to go back and kick it over his mark, which is probably a good result because he's missed to the right-hand side anyway. But it'll allow the Wanderers defenders to run back and man up. Nick Loudon's had a pretty good season for the Buffs, but another one of these midfielders tonight, Raf, that hasn't contributed a lot. Just been outpointed, haven't they, by the Wanderers? Been all over them.
That's it. Their pressure and their work ethic, Wanderers both ways, has definitely shut down the Buffalo's midfield.
Comes with a pretty good CV. 2019 VFL with Casey. Played North Ringwood. A couple of years with Gippsland Power before that. Likes his chances. He'll kick from 55 metres out, slight angle, gives it a ride. Lovely strike at the ball, just misses to the right, but what a thumping kick. Another behind to the Buffs though, 4-9. Only had 4 less scoring shots, but they haven't looked anywhere. I mean, the margin's right, isn't it? It's a 44-50 point game, the dominance of Wanderers, and yet they've only had 4 less scoring shots.
Yeah, and I think just going by on that last shot, he's kicking from 55 out, and Wanderers have had all their shots inside that 30-metre arc and in front, so that's the difference right there.
Matt Bradley Stokes, Tipalura lays his tackle on him. Play on the call. Hodgson, Loudon, Jared Stokes. Oh, taken high, surely. Free kick. Just a little crude from Josh Cabillo. Jared Stokes from 55 metres. Quick kick down the throat of Fuller, the defender. He can't take the mark. Ishmael Palmer beaten by Simpson. Lachoviak comes at him and lays him flat on his back at centre half back. Underground handball is clever by Ish Palmer. Comes back to McKenzie. Thumping ball from 55. Has it got the carry? Not quite. Mitch Taylor was right on the line and sees it through for a behind.
That would have been a massive goal. That was very impressive.
Yeah, he got onto it. He only took the one step and he's almost kicked a 55-metre goal.
Erlinson, Hodgson to the running Cabillo. Gee, they look good, Wanderers. But on this sort of form, you can see them playing in the decider in March next year.
Who's your pick for some of the best players on ground today, Rob?
Well, I think Ronald Fijo's been terrific. Dre Thompson's been exciting. Cabillo's been busy all night. It's hard to go past the defenders. Warwick Williams had a good night. Braden McLean's had a good night. But I think Hodgson and McFarlane, probably the two that I really like through the midfield. Here's a chance for the Buffs. Late opportunity for Matricardi as Max Kennedy comes back on. What about you, Raf? Who's your favourite players tonight?
I think you pretty much nailed it on the head there. The Wanderers midfielders got to work early. McFarlane and Hodgins and broke the game open, especially with those running goals and their delivery, getting it in deep. Cabillo when he went in the middle as well.
Darcy Matricardi, Raf has kicked the goal finally for the Buffs.
McLean across half-back, like always, being the general, setting his defence up. Mitchell Taylor, throwing his body in there as well. But yeah, I think the Wanderers outfit all around the ground have worked really well as a team and moved it both ways, defensive and attacking really well.
So playing for a bit of pride in this last quarter, the Buffs, Nungalingia Cup. Kicked 2 goals, 4 in the last term so far. The Wanderers just one behind, but too little too late. 37 points to lead.
I think it's really lovely that the ball that they used at the beginning will be retained as a permanent symbol of the game, which is awesome.
Simpson up against McKenzie. McKenzie gets taken to ground. Did he have the footy? Erlinson, strong tackle. Now a whistle goes and it's going to be a Wanderers free kick. It's going to go to Dre Thompson.
We've mentioned Williams a lot from Wanderers. Apparently he only started playing the game when he was 16 because he came from rugby league country.
Well, you can see his strength, can't you, from that rugby league background, but that's quite surprising given he's very highly skilled as well.
Yeah, his family moved to Victoria and had no choice but to have a go at Aussie rules.
Eddie Simpson, West Australian marks. Just another recruit to add to this Wanderers list. Eddie had 2 to contend with. Ryan Pendlebury. Bates. Eddie still fighting on. Still going Eddie. Runs into Bradley Stokes. Moroney. Back to Pendlebury. Pendlebury pokes a little kick outside 50. The Wanderers come up with it. Oh, clever handball over the top from Tottenham. Gave it to Simpson. The big man steps around and then kicks across the face of goal. But a man who stands almost 200 centimetres tall, that's pretty handy football, Raf.
Yeah, he had some footwork there and he almost kicked a bloody really nice goal.
It's out of bounds on the full. So the Buffs through Riley Matricardi will bring it back into play.
So if he's, 200 centimetres, what are you, Raf?
Definitely not that. I'm just under 190, so 189, but I like to round up. So
you always wear the long stops, is that right?
Yeah. That's right.
Comes to Warwick Williams, who's enjoying a bit of time across half forward, and a mark has been taken by Hodgson, and this would be a fitting way to cap off a great night with his first goal of the night and become the 9th Eagle to kick a goal. Jeez, I really liked his game. He attacks at 1,000,000 miles an hour. He's played a bit of NITV, Canberra and the Giants, some VFL with Werribee. He's come from the Murray Bushrangers program before that. He's also played in the tough Ovens and Murray League, and he kicks his first goal for the evening, and the margin goes back out to 43 points. Well done, Bryden Hodgson. Excellent game of football. Wanderers get their 13th.
Wanderers definitely would be happy not only with this game but their start to the season, only losing one game.
Yeah, as we mentioned earlier, given where they were last year, they've really set their minds to it with an excellent pre-season. Someone like that on screen there coming back, Josh Cabillo, really helps, doesn't it? Simon Bates, he's been a tremendous player for many, many years. So great blend. Simpson goes into the ruck. Kennedy looked up and had a fumble. Had time to regather, gives to Coombs. Coombs in the Eldridge direction. He stands in front. Not sure he tried to mark it in. He might have tried to flip it over the top to Riley Matricati. Gordon comes out to meet it, although maybe tried to bump away from his opponent and clear space for Jared Stokes. Didn't come off. Simpson waits for the ball to be tunnelled out there by Joel Cabillo. Still going Simpson. He's playing like a rover still. Joel Cabillo comes up with it. Just moving the ball forward very cleverly. Wanderers across half-back, not taking clean possession, but tapping it on to advantage. McFarlane, his kick was on the half volley. Set his teammate a task. McKenzie squeezes the kick back towards the wing, back towards Collinson. Attacking the ball hard the other way, Aaron Motlop, but Aaron Stokes comes up with it for the Buffs. He kicks it straight down the throat of Braden McLean. Another possession. He switches it out to Aaron Motlop. 20.5 minutes gone. Final quarter. Wanderers lead by 43 points. 2-1 final term for the Buffs. The only quarter tonight they've been able to outscore the Wanderers. Weren't without a hope at half-time, being 5 goals down, but a 5-1 third quarter set up a big win for the Eagles.
I think Shannon Motlop will be very happy. Understatement.
Be ecstatic, wouldn't he? Off the ground goes Josh Cabillo. They want more. Hodgson sends it up towards half forward. Pushed under the footy there was Tipalura. Goes again. Hodgson sweeps the long ball to O'Connell. He's got some space. He's got some tricks. He's got a vacant goal square. He kicks across the face and it skids off the turf and into the behind post for a boundary throw-in.
I think the Buffaloes will be wanting that siren to sound, I think.
Yeah, it couldn't be too much longer to go, I think.
Yeah, time to regroup. Look at what went wrong. They've still got the players to do it. It just hasn't been their night. I wouldn't completely write them off, but...
No, you can't, not with the way they've been playing their footy.
Maybe we've undersold the ability of Wanderers on tonight's performance. Trey Thompson. Seaton Kernoth. Loudon. Out to Matricati. Squeezed it to Collinson. It was clever handball. Collinson from left half back. Kicks it to the wing. Ishmael Palmer. Totter mops up for the Wanderers. Squeezes the kick to Aaron Motlop. Had to wait under it. Collinson came late, but Motlop hung onto it just long enough at right half forward. 80 metres out from Wanderers' goal, kicking to the Michael Long centre end.
I think we better give up with our tips, hey guys?
Commentators cursing tipping as well now.
I reckon.
Over the back, Eddie clever once more as he got a handful, goes for 5, gets 5. Oh, he's a smart player, right on the full-time siren. The Wanderers get their 14th goal and they win by 49 points.
Very good, 49 points. And that concludes this Indigenous round. You've been watching NITV's coverage of the 2020-21 TIO NTFL Men's Premier League from TIO Stadium in Darwin on Larrakia country, beautiful Larrakia country. And yeah, the winners today are Wanderers. They have had a very convincing win and they win the second annual Nangalinya Cup. Well done. From your commentary team of Rob Cross, Raf Clark and Nev McEwen, thanks for joining us. And as we said, Wanderers are victorious, 49 points over the Darwin Buffaloes.